Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be using Jeopardy to pick my June TBR. It has been a little while since I made one of these TBR videos. I loved the one I made in April. It was my first TBR video that I've done and I really enjoyed that video. I didn't get around to making one for May, unfortunately, just because the last week and the first 2 weeks of May were all filled with finishing up my semester, with finals, with exams. It was just a whole lot, and I ended up going from having a great reading streak to going in like a 3-week reading slump. I've only read like 4 books this month, which is still good, but I know that I could have read more. I don't know. I've been in a really weird reading mood. So hopefully I can finish the month off strong. It is the 28th of May right now, so we still have a couple days. I plan to finish those 2 before the end of the month, so we can start off June on a high note. So without further ado, let us just jump into the video and let's talk about what we're going to be doing with Jeopardy and how Jeopardy is going to pick our TBR for this month. So as you can see on your screen, this is the Jeopardy board that I made. Let's talk about the 5 categories that we have: genre, mood reads, continuing series, reading challenges, and risk it or read it. Now, there isn't any questions attached to any of these. I wanted to do questions, but I wasn't really sure how to make that work, so I'm gonna test this out for obviously this video and hopefully the next couple months, see how it goes, and then hopefully in a couple months I'll be able to make it a little bit more challenging. What I ended up doing is, instead of me going through and obviously kind of picking the ones that I want, I wanted to give it a little bit more of a randomized effect. So I ended up cutting up little pieces of paper, putting all of the categories and their numbers associated with it on these little pieces of paper, and I thought we would go through and pick them and see what we get. Plan on 6 books for the month. Maybe we'll end up doing another extra one at the end, we'll kind of see, but without further ado, let us go ahead and start. I feel like I did a good job at mixing them up earlier, but we'll kind of mix them up as I go here. So grabbed one, show you. Hopefully it's not upside down. It probably is. What do we have? Reading challenge 500. Oh no. I also kind of tried to stick these to like difficulty level, having 500 be like the hardest one. So reading challenge 500, that is probably also going to be a challenging one, but let's see what we have here. A book you forgot you owned. Okay, that's not that bad. Okay, I might have to do a little bit of searching around because I'm pretty good at remembering what books I have, but there are some that slipped my mind. Ooh. Okay, I got this one almost a year ago at this point. I remember seeing Katie's reading it. I honestly don't really remember a whole lot about this. I know it's like historical romance or something. So here's pick number 1. Let's see if there's a fantasy book. Ooh, okay. I always forget I have this. I got this really randomly a couple months ago. Actually, no, probably more like a year ago. It's Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Okay, so let us read the backs of these books. We'll start with The Ornithologist's Guide to Love. Rival ornithologists hunt through England for a rare magical bird in this historical fantasy. Oh, it is fantasy? Oh, what? I looked it up and it said it was romance. Anyway, in this historical fantasy rom-com reminiscent of Indiana Jones but with manners, tea, and helicopter parasols. Oh my god. Beth Pickering Beth Pickering? That's a very interesting last name. Beth Pickering is on the verge of finally capturing the rare death whistle bird when Professor Devon Lockley swoops in, stealing both her bird and her imagination like a villain. Albeit a handsome and charming villain, but that's besides the point. As someone highly educated in the ruthless discipline of ornithology, Beth knows trouble when she sees it, and she is determined to keep her distance from Devion. For his part, Devion has never been more smitten than when he first sets eyes on Professor Beth Pickering. She's so pretty, so polite, so capable of bringing down a fiery, deadly bird using only her wits. In other words, an angel. Devion understands he must not get close to her, however, since they're professional rivals. When a competition to become Birder of the Year by capturing an endangered Calidurus bird is announced, Beth and Devion are forced to team up to have any chance of winning. Now, keeping their distance becomes a question of 1 bet or 2, but they must take the risk because foul play is afoot and they can't trust anyone else, for all may be fair in love and war, but this is ornithology. That sounds very interesting, very silly, very fun. Okay, so this is our first option. And then we have a sci-fi, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Are you happy with your life? Those are the last words Jason hears before the kidnapper knocks him unconscious. Before he awakens to find himself strapped to a gurney surrounded by strangers in hazmat suits. Before a man he's never met smiles down at him and says, "Welcome back, my friend." In this world he's woken up to, Jason's life is not the one he knows. His wife is not his wife, his son was never born, and Jason is not an ordinary college professor, but a celebrated genius who has achieved something remarkable, something impossible. Is it this life or the other that's the dream? And even if the home he remembers is real, how will Jason make it back to the family he loves? I think we're picking this one as our option because that sounds so good, and it's a TV show on Apple TV. This sounds so good. I always question and always wonder how many books are sitting on my shelves that are gonna be like my next favorite book and I just haven't read, and they've been sitting on there for so long. This is going to be our first pick for the video. Alrighty, so it is time to pick our second book. Okay, I think that's one. Let us see. You see, it is not, doesn't want to focus. Okay, it was upside down anyway. Genres for 200. Okay, let us. Thriller / horror. Okay. Ooh, actually, I have two for this. One is, I don't really know what you would categorize this as, but we have the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I don't know if you would technically count this as a thriller or horror because it's YA. Let me look it up actually. Primarily a YA psychological thriller and mystery. Okay, so it fits the thriller category, but I do have one other option. It's on my Kindle, but it is Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. It is a post-apocalyptic Last of Us, Walking Dead type of story. I actually started this a couple months ago and just couldn't get into it at the time because I was in a little bit of a reading slump. I love the premise of it. The Last of Us is one of my favorite games of all time, and I really liked what I read. I think I ended up reading 2 chapters and I was like automatically hooked, but again, just wasn't really, well, that's, I guess that kind of contradicts what I said, wasn't it? I was hooked, but I just wasn't feeling it at the time. Does that make sense? But let us read the back of the book for the naturals. Cold cases are about to get hot. 17-year-old Casey Hawes is a natural at reading people, piecing together the tiniest details. She can tell who you are and what you want, but it's not a skill she's ever taken seriously. That is until the FBI comes knocking. They've begun a classified program that uses exceptional teenagers to crack infamous cold cases, and they need Casey. What Casey doesn't realize is that there's more at risk than a few unsolved homicides, especially when she's sent to live with a group of teens whose gifts are unusual as her own. Soon it becomes clear that no one in the Naturals program is what they seem, and when a new color strikes, danger looms close. Caught in a lethal game of cat and mouse with a color, the Naturals are going to have to use all their gifts just to survive. Unfortunately, both of these books are at the start of the series, but I feel like I'm leaning more towards Voices in the Snow, which is interesting. I do own this book on my Kindle, so I think we're gonna do Voices in the Snow. I think that would be a good option. Very fun, something different. Obviously, we have 2 very different genres so far than what I normally read, but let's move on to book number 3. I'm gonna try to pick one of the bottom ones if that will even work. Okay, let us. Mood read 200. Alrighty, let's see. Your prettiest cover. Ooh. I will say I do have a lot of my prettiest covers on display. We have Letter for Bridehaven and Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. I do really want to read this, and honestly this is probably one of my prettiest covers that I do own. This is the Illumicrate edition, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Illumicrate. Oh, it is absolutely stunning. I think it's Frostbite Studios who did the artwork for the cover, and she is absolutely insane. Alright, so this might be an option. I will say Heavenly Bodies, absolutely stunning. Okay, this is kind of hard because I have so many good covers. I think we're gonna choose between one of these because both of them are absolutely stunning. Like, I can never get over how beautiful Heavenly Bodies is. So let us read the back of the book here. In a world ruled by the cruel and merciless stars, Alara has been cursed by fate. A prophecy promises she will not fall for a star, but that it will kill them both. So when Aret, star of wrath and war, descends to wreak havoc on Alara's kingdom of night, she flees her home only to be captured by the neighboring Helios, kingdom of of Light and falls straight into the arms of an enemy prince. Fearing that Arete might turn his sights to Helios next, Prince Lorenzo is forced to train Allura as a weapon, one worthy of battling against the tyrannical reign of the stars. But there are shadows even within the Kingdom of Light, and they are threatened to reveal the darkness in Lorenzo's past and the ancient magic that slumbers in Allura's veins. And with it comes an undeniable star-crossed pull between Allura and Lorenzo that neither can seem to resist. This is a fantasy romance series. Our next choice we have is The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy by Bridget Knightley. This is a Draco and Hermione fanfiction, but traditionally published, a slow burn enemies to lovers romantasy featuring a scholarly healer and a gentleman assassin set in an exquisite fantasy world. I know the thing was choose the prettiest cover, but out of both of them, they're both stunning. I mean, you cannot deny that both of these are stunning. I will say this one definitely intrigues me more. This one sounds fun, and I think I'll enjoy it. Just, I don't know if this is exactly what I'm reaching for at this moment and want. So we're going to pick Heavenly Bodies as our third pick for this video. Let's look at number 4. All right, so for our next category, I think it's upside down again. What does it say? Continuing series 300. Ooh, okay, this is exciting. Okay. No! No! Oh no! Oh no! Read the sequel that you have been postponing. I mean, I have to do it eventually. Even if that eventually is 5 years later. Okay. Oh no. Oops. We are going to be reading Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. This is the second book in the Six of Crows duology. So if you guys don't know, I'll just grab it because I think I just dropped everything off of that stack. Okay, so this is Six of Crows. This is book 1. So if you guys don't know anything about Six of Crows, please read it. It is one of the best fantasy series. Well, I guess I've only read book 1 that I've ever read, and I love it dearly, and I've read it 3 times in the past 5 years, and the show is everything to me, at least the Six of Crows part. I'm not a huge fan of the Shadow and Bone plotline, but everything with the crows. It is one of the most phenomenal casts for these characters that I've ever seen before. Six of Crows is a heist fantasy story in which we follow our main character Casbracker as he brings together 5 other individuals, and he is tasked to complete this seemingly impossible mission or heist. That's honestly what the whole entire thing is about. The character growth that all of our characters go through, the found family. If you guys love character-driven stories, found family stories, this is literally everything. I love it so much, and I think about them all the time, and I cannot wait to do my read of this in December. And I guess that means it is finally time to get around to reading Crooked Kingdom. I have a little bit of knowledge on what happens in this book, what may or may not happen to a certain character, certain plot line, and I just hate the feeling of not having something, even though I do know that actually on my birthday, which I love that for me, Leigh Bardugo is coming out with a like 150 page novella in the Six of Crows duology. So I cannot wait for that, and honestly it is perfect time to finally finish up this duology, because honestly I can't feel bad because there's going to be a new story with them, so I'm not really getting the last of them. So this is going to be our next pick. Gonna be a challenging one for me to get through because I am absolutely terrified of it, but it is time. We have 4 books. We're gonna pick 2 more. Maybe we'll do a third one, I'm not sure, but okay, see you guys first if it is actually upright. Mood read for 400. Ooh, okay, let's see. A book talk fave. Ooh, I'm gonna go do a little bit of digging around, see if I can come up with a couple of ideas here, and then I'll get back. Okay, so this was surprisingly difficult for me to choose. I ended up finding 2 books, and I do have a lot of like book talk books, but I feel like I don't have like a lot of like book talk sensations that this is kind of more leaning towards, or I just don't feel like reading them. So I ended up picking 2 here that I really want to get to, and honestly I probably will end up reading both of these this month. Let's go over them. The first one we have is The Score by Elle Kennedy. This one was a OG book talk when the Off-Campus series was huge, and then I kind of fell off a little bit, and then obviously with the rise of the show, the series has bumped up in popularity, and they got a entire cover change as well. So this is the third book. A little history about me in this series. I ended up reading the first 2 books on my phone. I got them on Kindle because I wasn't sure exactly how much I was gonna like them, so I just bought them on my Kindle, but at the time I didn't have a Kindle, so I was reading them on my phone, and I liked them. I really did, actually. I just didn't love reading them on my phone. I didn't want to go out and buy a Kindle. I couldn't tell you why I didn't end up getting the physical versions. I think because the covers were atrocious. I never ended up continuing the series, even though the next one was the one that I wanted to read out of all of them, which was book 3 with Allie and Dean. And so that is what I have here. It is the score. We follow our 2 main characters, Allie and Dean. Allie just broke up with her boyfriend of 2 years. In order to make her stop thinking about him and going back to him, Allie and Dean end up having a friends to benefits type of relationship. And obviously, as you can kind of assume, they do end up falling for each other at some point. Obsessed with the show. I cannot get over them. If you guys don't know anything about the off-campus series, you guys probably do at this point, but it's a 5-book hockey romance series. They're all interconnected. They're also kind of standalone, so you can honestly read them at any point, but I would suggest reading them in order. The 5th book is kind of like an epilogue book in which we get all of the couples, but then there's also a spin-off series called the Briar Year series. This is option number 1. And then for option number 2, this has been blowing up recently. It is A Stage That Prevents by Samantha J. Spann. And let us go over and read the blurb on the back here. The gods are dead, all that's left are the players. The performers of the playhouse are as worshipped as they are feared. Their enchanting shows bending hearts, minds, and reality itself. Vicious, godlike, lethal, 18-year-old Riven Hesper knows the danger better than anyone after her own encounter with the player resulted in a curse that is slowly killing her. When the playhouse announces the spectacle of a lifetime, a chance for one mortal to steal a player's immortality, Riven sees her last chance to live. Desperate for answers, she infiltrates the competition. There she finds Jude, the Playhouse's brilliant, merciless leader player whose charm is as dangerous as his craft, and strikes a deadly bargain to save her life. But with time running out and the Playhouse's secrets unraveling into a disturbing picture, Riven faces a grim possibility. She might not be the hero of her story after all. In fact, she may be the villain. Because the Playhouse doesn't just tell stories, it rewrites them, and Riven's might end in blood. That just sounds so interesting. Both of these sound so good. I think I'm gonna pick this one for this one, but we may be adding the score to the TBR at the very end of the video because I really want to read this one. So here is book 5? Yeah, 5. Alrighty, so we are down to our last one, not including the score. I do think I'm just gonna add that on as an extra, but let us see here. Ooh, risk it or read it 400. Okay, did we get all the categories? 1, 2. Oh, yay! Okay, let's see what this is. No fantasy? Oh, wait! Oh my god, this is perfect! Yay! Okay. Oh wait, oh my god, I love that. Okay, so that is our TBR because this fits that option perfectly because it's pretty much a free card for me to pick anything. Alrighty, just for fun, should we do one more? I kind of think we should. Let's see what we got. I just love doing this. It's honestly so much fun because you never know what you're gonna get. So, okay. Let's hope this doesn't backfire on me. Mood read 300. Lots of mood reading. Okay, so 3rd one. A book from Kindle Unlimited. Don't know why it says tour there. That was my mistake. Okay, well, this is perfect. I have my Kindle right here. Let's see. So we have any of the Mariana Zapata books I really want to read. Hollow Heathens I really want to read. The Ascended I've heard is really good. I think you have to read like another series before that. Anything by Carrie Lake. I really want to read Anathema, but I've heard it's really long. Ooh, I also really want to get into the Windy City series. However, I don't want to read the entire thing. I just want to read like 2 of them. I'm kind of thinking either Caught Up in the Windy City series or Anathema. Both of them would be me starting a series. I think we're gonna do Caught Up by Liz Tom Ford the third book in the Windy City series, and that is the TBR for this month. I had so much fun filming this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let's quickly go over all the books that we have for this month. We have 2 books on my Kindle. We have Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. This is our thriller / mystery book. And then our second book we have is Caught Up by Liz Tom Ford, the third book in the Windy City series. And then let's go over the stack of books that we have here. We have Heavenly Bodies, which is the first book in the, I think it's just called Heavenly Bodies series. Yeah, book 1 in the Heavenly Bodies series. We have Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Super excited about this one. We have Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, the second book in the Six of Crows duology. We have The Score by Elle Kennedy, the third book in the Off Campus series. And then we have A Stage Set for Villains, our, only second standalone for this video. So yeah, that is my TBR. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was something fun, something different that you guys may not have seen before. Hopefully I'll be able to make it a little bit more, I don't know, challenging next time or in a couple months. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, morning, night, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.